We're live.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Hanson Economic Development Committee meeting of December 3rd, 2025. This meeting is being recorded and will be shared on Whitman Hanson Community Access Television. I know you gave me a little script to read, but I just flew by it, but I think I covered all of the high points. With us in person, we have Kevin Cohen, myself, Laura Kemet, Jai Murray, and Jay Murray, and Tony DeFrias. And joining us by phone is our member, Chris Ernst. And we have got, Mr. Sarah is running a little bit late, and he will join us shortly. With that, do we have a flag and pledge of allegiance? No. Oh, okay. I will rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance. Great. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Did you have a little flag in your car that you were saying that to, Chris?
I didn't, but I have my hand over my heart. So.
Okay, oh geez, yeah. What could possibly go wrong? What could go wrong with that while you're holding the phone and pledging it?
I'm glad you didn't try and stand up.
Okay. Wow, post-Hanson Day discussion. That kind of dates us a little bit.
Well, if you...
We did discuss it already.
Yeah. The minutes would be the first thing from September.
Hey, Member Scott Rockwell's just joined us. I'm sorry, Mr. Tobias.
The first item would be the minutes.
Yes, I will entertain a motion to approve the September 10th, 2025 minutes.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
You don't get any slack for just coming in. All in favor? And just a reminder, roll call because we're recording it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Cohen, I'm an aye.
Aye. Laura Kemet.
And I'm an aye, Chris Ernst.
Roswell.
Okay, great. All right, great. So that brings us to post-Hanson Day discussion.
If I may, Madam Chair.
Yeah. Yeah, we can take things out of order.
Yeah, Mr. Mansfield.
For Trail Website.
Correct,
project?
and Mr. Mansfield has a meeting this evening
with
the Conservation Commission.
All right, great. That sounds good. We'll take it out of order. So let's discuss Trail's website project, shall we? And thank you for joining us. And for those of you, is everybody familiar with Mr. Mansfield?
Yeah.
If you don't know him, he's otherwise known as Mr. Trails, because all of our trails in Hanson look as amazing as they do because of his coordination of all of our wonderful volunteers and his vision. And I am grateful for you every time I walk them, Dave, and I think about you and all of the volunteers.
So, Jay is pursuing her master's, and in one of her classes, one of the projects was create a website. And so she was able to speak with her other people in her group, and they're going to create the website for the Hanson Trails.
That's awesome.
That being said, I'm going to let her explain what she's done and what's on the screen. So if you want to use this computer.
This is absolutely good. I could sit there watching that all day long.
That video is courtesy of the Old Colony Planning Council.
Love it.
It's a drone video that they took over Burridge. So.
Is that sun going down or sun coming up?
I am not sure. I think it's sunset.
Yeah.
How do I get my... I'm not used to your setup.
I almost asked if it was live,
okay.
But I know it's dark out already, you know.
That would be real impressive.
Yeah, I know.
Not quite that good.
I know, yeah.
I'm good. I'm not that good. Okay. So, as Tony said, I was able to convince my group mates to do the Hanson Trail website. The specifications for the class were much less, but we thought it was really nice to have an actual project to work on. So this is the website. So this is our homepage. We've been talking with Dave some about kind of coming up with a consistent sort of branding, and Hike Hanson is what we came up with.
That's cute.
As well as the little logo. On some other things that Dave's having made as well, so it'll be consistent. These are called cards, but these all actually lead to other pages. So, just a few things to try to catch people's interest when they first click on the site. So, trail etiquette, trails for skiing, trails for bird watchers, upcoming events, trail gallery, conservation areas. This is updatable. So if we ever have a closure on the trails or anything like that, we'll be able to push a notification there.
Yeah.
These are maybe a bit fictional right now, but I am trying to find some folks to give me some real reviews, but just some reviews to kind of fill out the page a bit. And then again, sometimes the more things you have that people can click on, the longer they'll spend on your site. So from there,
this is just amazing, Jay. Just amazing. I love it.
Thank you. Tony's had to hear me talk about coding for a month now.
How you doing, Tony? Good.
Oh, it's good. She sent me some links because I'm going to learn the code.
He's jealous of my skills now. So on the browse page, it has a filtering ability. So we have all the trails here, but say you wanted trails to boat, it'll bring you down to the best trails to do that. If you do more than one trail or more than one thing, it brings you down to whatever's for both. We also have an any feature, so that'll give you trails that you could do either of those activities on. Search feature works as predicted. Then for trails, we have a home page that has all the trails. All of these are clickable, so if at any point somebody wants to go straight to the trail they're looking at, they have the ability. Got some great photos from a certain trail boss in the room. And then we had some more great pictures that I didn't want to go to waste, so you went ahead and put a little gallery on that people can just kind of click through.
Nice, yeah.
I'm not going to go through every trail page, but everyone is fleshed out. But each trail has its own individual page and just has a little information about the trail, so just some basic history and info. And then we have more specific trail information. So if it's, Smitty's Bog is more of an area, there is a trail, but you can also kind of wander it. So this one is in acres. Some of them are in, miles or different things. We have one of the things I was most excited about when I started coming to Hanson specifically to hike the trails. I could never figure out where the trailheads were. So we have links.
That's awesome.
That are clickable there.
Yep.
Lets you know if there's a boat ramp, if there's ADA access, if there's views, a little bit more information about the trail itself, things you can do on the trail. The other important thing that this whole thing was kind of built for is so that we'd have a place to put the trail maps so that people can pull them up at the beginning of their hike whenever and have that to access. My husband and I were actually out at Smitty's this past weekend hiking around, and we couldn't tell if we'd wandered off on the Bay Circuit Trail, and I was like, I'm going to pull up my website. And so it was a good case use for it, and it worked. We were able to figure out where we were.
Sorry.
Jay's just going through the trail website that she's worked on with Mr. Mansfield.
Okay, cool.
And, just some extra photos. So every trail page is just a little different, but they all have the basics of the info, the maps, all of that. A little about page. So this is just some info about Hanson. The photos are clickable.
The detail here is just amazing. I love
I
it.
had a lot of fun putting it together.
Yeah. Your passion really shines through.
Area information about what conservation area means, since most of our trails are. Trail etiquette information.
On trail etiquette, do we have anything about pick up after your dog? Oh,
Right
yeah,
there,
great.
pick up after your dog.
That would be number one for me, but
Mr. Mansfield gave me the trail etiquette, so he
Yeah.
made sure. Yeah, and then, open dusk till dawn year round. And then we have just a little section to say thanks for the folks who contributed to the website. So Old Colony Planning Council, like I said, Hanson Historic Society. Might notice a few names here that provided photos.
Oh, Sue Gasper takes great photos.
Yeah, the two of you really hooked me up. We'll see that shortly. So we also have a page just to kind of reiterate all the things you can do on the trails, because we really want to push that it's not just take a walk.
That's a cool shot. Yeah.
Good shot in that section.
So we've got the different things that you can do on some of our trails, and each
Are
of
these really our photos? Like, I want to make sure we're not getting into copyright infringement.
so they are either our photos that I have permission for, or ChatGPT made them.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
We were careful about that.
The only one that might mention is.
I wondered about that.
We do allow hunting.
No, it is a lot, yeah, and it's interesting.
Within
That-
I did wonder about the gun, but
that
it is allowed.
That is a misunderstanding that a lot of people have, is that it's not allowed on conservation property. But that is in fact not true. It is allowed on conservation. They still have to follow all the
Right.
rules.
Right.
And, you know, most people are like, oh, it's a walking trail. I probably don't want to go hunting there in the middle of the day, but occasionally you do get a person that,
Or where you blaze orange when you go.
yeah,
During, right now, yeah, shocking
Yeah.
people.
Well, right now, the shotgun hunters will be at Smith, Nowazowski and Burridge.
I saw
And
20 of them yesterday at
Yeah.
Smith Nowazowski.
yeah, the deer stand
Yeah.
is sleeper, it
Yeah.
has been.
Yeah,
And then you have bird season, they're at those places, well, basically Burridge and Smitty's.
Yep.
Bird season.
Yeah, duck hunting.
I've never run into a problem, ever. For years I've been walking all this. I've never had any
The
hunter.
biggest issue we have is
Yeah.
people don't take the deer stands down.
Yeah, they're supposed to be taken down right after the season, I think within 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks, 14 days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people figure, I'm gonna do it again next year in the same place.
Well, they do, and they leave them up.
Yeah, yeah.
So I haven't had to take any down. I've been able to find the owners and have them take them down. Ultimately, that's what we do as
I can add a little tag to the page that says something about that too.
Yeah, yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
They should know that if they're hunters.
And yeah, maybe also make, follow hunting laws.
Well, that's
Yes,
on
we
the
do.
kiosks.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, and we do have, follow regulations, make sure you're licensed, all of that on the hunting page
Yeah.
itself.
Most hunters are too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
There's less and less people hunting now.
More and more deer though.
Yeah, if you own a weapon, you can get unlimited tow permits now. You just go on and buy them.
We had a hunting club donate deer meat to the food pantry. It was the first time we've ever had it, but people were thrilled with it.
There's also a program for the veterans too, where they
Yeah.
donate deer meat that goes to veterans as well. Clean, in less area that you can hunt.
Yep.
You can't hunt within 500 feet of a
Yep.
written permission.
Right.
So it's,
So each of those activities that we saw on the More to Explore page has its own page as well, with a little bit more information. So this is the bird watching page. So we've got a little gallery. Again, you might notice some names of some great pictures here, and then all the pictures, you can click on them and get a little bit better view of them.
Oh, that's nothing, Jay. I could have given you thousands.
I genuinely,
Oh, no, she's friends with me on Facebook. It gets tortured.
I've seen you encouraged to.
I just got into my yard birds this past year, so I'm slowly kind of getting into this. So I was really enjoying going through all of these myself. But
Be scared. You'll get sucked into a vortex you'll never get out of.
yeah, I already have to bring my binoculars every time we go walk.
This is,
What about, you're not gonna mention anything about bike riding? You can ride your bikes on trails.
We don't have a specific page for that. I think that one of the other things does say you can, but that is something we can.
That's a really good point.
Make a
because also,
bike riding page.
I want to talk about motorized vehicles not being allowed, and then e-bikes, which I
E-bike.
believe are permitted.
They are.
I ran into you if I were driving e-bike,
Right,
yeah.
all the time,
yeah.
e-bikes, e-bike,
Yeah.
right.
DCR has regulations
Right.
about them. We could adopt it. It hasn't been a problem, but if it is, we adopt their regulations.
I've never seen mostly Smitty's and Town Forest are the ones I use for the, and then I do the one off of Elm Street, not Smith and Wazowski, but the opposite side of the road. But I've never seen an e-bike on any of those.
I rode one time on, going from Camp Kawani up in that area, which one's it?
Yeah, that's Smitty.
Spitting.
Yeah, it's not, some of it's e-bike friendly and some of it's not.
I've never done an e-bike, but I did a mountain bike there, and it's a little, it's not Burridge, we'll just say
No,
that.
Burridge,
Yeah.
Burridge is like my favorite place to go.
Yeah.
You can just
Yeah.
go, and I don't need to fall.
Right.
Yeah, we can definitely add a whole biking page. That wouldn't be that much work, especially if you have any good pictures you could
I
send
think
me.
that's a really good idea because there is a whole culture of people who look for places to bicycle. And if one of the things we're trying to do is encourage people to use this and attract people, that might be something that they don't know. Like if I've never met somebody with a bike who hasn't seen Burridge and said, "Oh my God, this
Yeah.
is amazing."
That's really the only one that's, makes sense for bicycles.
Yeah,
The
it
rest
is.
of them are too
Yeah.
small or not.
Yeah.
I'll note that too, to put it under Burridge.
It's still allowed. I don't know.
It's allowed,
Yeah.
right, but
Yeah.
there's not enough
Yeah.
territory.
But if you're gonna feature something, I would feature Burridge for
Yeah.
picture wise.
So each of the activity pages has just a little information about the activity, pretty general stuff, and then trails that are suitable for it. And then, like the banner on the front page, we have an upcoming events tab that is updatable, so that this can be updated. I imagine if this does get adopted fully into the town website, that will kind of switch it over to the same system that the town website uses to update things, Civic Plus, but for now it's on a Google sheet just until we get to that. So that is the basics of the trail. We've got a search bar over here, of course. And then I also, since this is the Economic Development Committee, wanted to point out a few things that you can't really see when you look at a website, but that I think are good for the town to have. So we've talked a lot in the Economic Development Committee about search engine optimization and how we really want to get on those searches. So built into the website, we've got parts of the code that are specifically for that. So anywhere where it says meta up here, that is code that when Google is going through pages to decide what to display, it'll look at, even though that's not on the actual web page, it'll look at that to kind of boost results. So we have more things here than what we have on the actual page that Google can trawl through.
That's great.
This section here is also, it's called a JSON schema, but it's a similar thing where this tells Google the actual location of each trail. So if people are doing location-based searches.
Like trails in Hanson. Little directory for all or something.
Yes. It's not even just Hanson. I made sure to work in southern Massachusetts, South Shore trails, kind of threw some keywords at it that I thought people might use. And every page on the website has something like this built into it. So the bird watching page has different ways you could say that. The hiking page has different ways you could say that, all sort of baked into the site to try to help this come up on searches more frequently. This information that I'm telling you now is also in a handout I forgot to mention in your packets there if you wanted to look. But since it is also, part of the town website, we really went hard on making sure that it's accessible and inclusive as possible. So the site can be navigated using screen readers. It can be navigated fully using the keyboard. It passes all the accessibility standards. The standards that we used were the WCAG standards, and they're the highest standards. And it got a 100% rating when we ran it through their thing. So passes for that.
So it's fully ADA compliant.
It is fully ADA compliant.
This is so impressive,
Yeah,
Jim.
very nice.
Yeah.
Well, it worked.
It's also mobile responsive. This works on, we've coded it so that it works on any size screen.
It
So
looks compatible.
I can actually show you. This
Oh, wow,
is what
yeah.
it would look like on a phone.
That's awesome.
So it just kind of shrinks everything down, stacks things a bit better.
Sure.
And then so let's see, the bird watching page, rather than having that banner across the top with all the pictures, it kind of shrinks it down to single pictures that you can scroll through, but it still has all the same information. Like I said, I use this to pull up the trail map the other day, and the trail map was quite easy to see on my phone, and I could zoom it in. So, you know, we were also pretty careful to keep the design standard across the website, and the colors that we chose are colors from our hiking guides, the trail maps that we had made. That way everything's kind of consistent throughout. You know, all the boring stuff, we compressed images, we made it so that the website loads really fast. It's not taking up a ton of space when people are opening it. All of that just makes it run better.
More user-friendly.
Now, did you already present this?
This is the first I'm presenting it. Well, for the class,
yeah.
So it's up for peer review right now, but it is like a requirement for the class is we had to have 5 pages and some interactive elements, and this has, I think, 27 pages. Like,
You've taken this to a whole different
yeah,
level.
it's so far beyond the class at this point. I'm not even thinking about that anymore. The one comment I've gotten so far on the peer reviews is that drone video is the coolest thing I've seen on a website in ages.
It makes you want to go hiking, even if you're not a hiker. You're like, I want to see that view.
When they sent that picture, it was actually, we had asked for it for something else. Somebody had requested it, and we had gotten in touch with Old Colony, and they sent that video. And then I almost immediately sent back, could we use this for the website? Because, I mean, it's just so gorgeous. We also did a little bit of research, and there aren't any towns or hiking areas in the South Shore that have specific hiking websites like this. So that also helps out a lot for popping up on Google. And yeah.
Nice. And this is the whole idea of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Excuse me, is promote our open space.
Yep.
For economic development.
Yep.
And I didn't ask Jay to do this. She kind of took it upon herself, and you can see she's got the OCD, which is great. So I said to work with me, you have to, because I have it. So she's just fantastic. And I saw this, I was like, wow.
It looks beautiful.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't change a thing. Just that bike stuff, no? Yeah. What do you guys think? You agree, Scott?
The only thing I could think of, if people could put feedback, say how great this trail is, or is that a whole different
That's something we could build in.
word?
The way I would do it is it would have to be approved before it actually popped up anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. I'm there with you, Laura.
I'm sorry. I get triggered at the thought of, I used to, and I am a huge First Amendment person, like do or die, even if it's an opinion I completely disagree with. But there's people that push this to the absolute limit.
There's people that troll to do nothing but that.
Yeah, so that sounds good, with like a prior approval thing. But yeah, I like that idea, Scott, because, maybe somebody discovered something on the trail that they want to share, or talk about their experience. I like that. It makes it more interactive.
Yeah. I like that too.
and it goes, this goes, and that's so wide, right?
Yeah.
It puts that for 11 trails that were proposing. That guy back there, his mate, we got to get him help at some point.
One thing we may, I love this, and one thing we may want to think about is getting some of the trail maps in the hands of some of the restaurants, so that when people are visiting, if there's people from out of town, I think they'd be open to it. I'm thinking of Fetch Barbecue, because they were just at our meeting last night, and he told us that 30% of the people that are coming from Marshfield. Well, my mind's going, how do we keep them here? How can they
If we're
spend
gonna
money?
do that, we'd have to invest in some holders, because 11 separate ones. So if you just pile them on a countertop, it won't work.
Yeah.
It would probably be to our advantage to get some holders, and if they're willing to take the brochures, we can give brochures with a holder.
Yeah, okay, cool.
On a technical note, we can't do anything with QR codes until this is hosted where it's going to
That
ultimately
makes sense.
be,
Yeah,
because you can't connect them until it's where it's going to live.
Maybe that would be.
the thing.
Instead of,
yeah,
Well, ultimately, Webster will give us that QR code.
yeah,
But we have to have someplace to put it.
yeah. No, but
instead of
that's
putting a holder with 12 different maps on it, just
Yep,
make up a nice.
We could even have Webster print up like a composite-like thing with a QR code on it.
Like, yeah.
I mean, that's something I could do.
Doesn't
That's
have to be
not,
Hanson,
yeah.
In Hanson restaurant.
No, I mean, we're equal opportunities employers. Anybody from any town can come in and spend
My
money
niece
here. Yeah.
owns the Alibi Tavern in Whitman, so I'll make sure.
Yeah.
Whitman,
I mean.
Hey, I live in Whitman, watch it.
It builds goodwill.
That's great.
So the
I
QR,
think Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
sorry.
just wanted to ask if we should put some sort of like a donation page or a sponsor of a trail, even if it's a temporary sponsorship of a trail, just to kind of help out with the maintenance or,
We had talked, yeah.
you know, get connected
What were you gonna say, Paul?
Well, like a volunteer section.
or volunteer.
Could go
We haven't
in,
adopted
fill out a little
program,
application to
conservation.
volunteer.
Oh, you do? Okay.
So
Do
if
you wanna do a link on this?
we could do that.
Yeah,
Okay, that'd be great, yeah.
For information call conservation.
yeah, yeah.
And depending on how this goes live, and there's always the potential for a swag,
That'd be cool, yeah.
you know, mugs, t-shirts,
Well, I have a laser engraver.
You know what I mean?
I'll engrave them.
mugs, t-shirts,
What about
sweatshirts.
t-shirts? Cause I think that would actually sell. Like I do, that I'll tell you, that 200th anniversary sweatshirt and t-shirts, those things were hotcakes. People, really bought those, like, we really were ill prepared for how popular they were. I now wish I had hoarded a few more of them, but I think that this Hank Hansen thing, it's not even dated, it's like evergreen, so, literally and figuratively, so,
And Jay came up with that hashtag.
is that copyrighted?
I checked that it's
Okay, all right.
not
So, I mean,
copyrighted.
If we get into as this progresses, that we could do merchandising that could be used, proceeds from that, to go back trails and maintenance and so forth.
It might have to be, we've run into this before, it might have to be a Friends of the Trails type of
Yeah,
thing,
right.
501c3, that then gives money to, makes a donation to the, because the town can't sell.
Right, yeah, we can't make that,
yeah.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, to answer your question, that's something Tony and I actually talked about a
Yeah,
good bit.
okay, yeah.
It's just what she's saying. We kind of have to figure out the way to do it in a way that the town is not soliciting money.
Exactly, yeah.
So
The
how
town
are
of
you
Hanson.
going to summarize the feedback and tell us, whether you're able to take an action on the feedback or not?
So I've been taking notes on what you guys have said. Most of this is just, now that the website is established and I have the code that I do have, adding the pages we talked about is really
No
not
big deal.
that big of a deal. I mean, it's a few hours of work.
And then
as he said, I'm a little obsessive about it, so
And then add the reference to the link to the Adopt a Trail program.
we can do that.
And maybe, is there information or is it intuitive if you wanted to be on a trail crew, like how you would?
Well, because it's a catchy phrase, we call it Adopt a Trail, but I will join that with volunteers.
Okay, all right,
I mean,
okay,
the idea was patrol the trail near where you live, keep the trash picked up, and
okay, all
let
right.
us know if there's an issue. That's the concept of that. But those same people are the people we would use for volunteers. So
Okay.
They kind of go together. But that's just a catchy phrase to use. And then if we can catch them to that, we get them on the volunteer list.
That totally makes sense. Okay,
Instead of confusing with two separate.
yeah, okay,
As we were talking about it, my thought was just adding a get involved page to it that can take, as you said, people can write like reviews sort of things, or it can link to the Adopt a Trail info, the conservation site. The actual deployment of this really depends on a few things. I know our IT guy is working to get the entire website updated, so we've talked about that a little bit, and none of that is going to be as fast as I was. But so there will be a little bit of time to play with things, and I'll be able to show you guys this at any point.
yeah, I mean, Matt is amazing.
Yes.
And we're so fortunate to have him, but because he is so talented, and we have a pent-up demand of things that were perhaps not attended to prior to him coming to us, probably it's going to be a longer wait than we would want.
He is in talks with the people that are building
Yeah.
the new website,
Yeah.
because he has the link to this that he was going to show them as well, to see about incorporating and how we wanted to do that. That is something we'll have to talk about with the town at some point too, is if we want this to be part of hansonma.gov, or if we want to pay the money to host it on hikehanson.com.
I think it's always a bad idea to have fractured fairy tales and have things all over the place. I think you need to have it on one umbrella, because that then we're going to run into who's going to run that versus the regular website and and then the look and feel and all of that. And I don't know what the new program is that Matt will use, but even currently with the software, and I doubt that it will change with the new one, you've still got an ability for people to go in individually, departmentally, and make modifications they need to make, and we still need to have that latitude going forward, because we don't want Matt to be the singular individual who can make all the changes. But we need to find a way to make that prominent, though. Honestly, I mean, I don't know. I may be biased about that, but I'm just in a state of shock, honestly. I mean, I knew you were working on it, but I just hadn't envisioned it being this magnificent. So, yeah, unbelievable. Yes.
On May, so people know what's that.
Exactly. Shiny metal object.
Right.
Click here. Yeah.
Work that drone video in somewhere as a teaser.
That would do it right there.
Yeah, that video.
Hypnotize them and get them to click.
Do it like a pop-up ad.
Yeah.
Pop up that. No, we don't want people to hate us.
No, they would love that.
So do you need us to vote on anything? I mean, do you need like some kind of a specific, I know Mr. DeVries gets very persnickety about motions and
No.
Okay.
For this,
All right.
for this you don't. This was more of a, wanted you to see what work is being done, coordination with Dave.
I would really love you to present us to select board.
I was thinking it.
I would really like to shine the light on the amount of effort and, put into this. And I think people will be amazed. And I think that it might give it just a little bit more of a focus for people, because now we don't have a local newspaper. So the only way we get information out is those few Hale and Hardy people at 2 a.m. that might be so sad that they're watching selectmen meetings on rerun might actually see this. But that's sort of like the only way that we get info out there. Yeah. And then Facebook. I would love, for you to work with the select board office to get this, So let's think about how we pivot a little bit. So while Matt's working on the broader situation, is there still a way for us to have this like a temporary, like have this now hosted somewhere temporarily and then work on merging it when the time is right and we've got the resources? Like I don't want this to get mothballed because Matt's not able to, integrate anything.
Now that I've talked to you guys and kind of gone through the initial thing, I'll talk more to Matt about if there's a place on the server or if we can put a link on the current website and get it on. Just a little tricky with it being a Gov website. There's some extra hurdles we have to go through. I think it'll be fine on there, but I'll talk with them about it though. Luckily we share an office right there, so it's got easy access.
Yeah. Okay, did anybody have any other questions? High praise, we want to keep on. Okay.
I'll say this much. Any department keeps hiring the good ones.
They do.
And unfortunately, we keep losing.
Well, that's the cost of good people. You want to keep them, right? Did you have anything you wanted to?
No, I just.
Okay.
It looks great. It's
Okay.
fabulous.
Great. All right, our regards to conservation.
Yeah.
Thanks
Where
for
are you guys,
everything.
down on the first floor?
We're down in Europe.
I see how it is. Okay, so conservation bumps us and we're up here.
Well, you don't have
I can send it
brochures.
to
We're in the nosebleed seats here. Okay, I see how it is.
Chris, you still
Good
there?
night.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Chris, you muted. Okay.
Hopefully we didn't lose him. Okay, that was mind-boggling. So much to take in. All right, post-Hanson Day discussion. I'm not really quite sure what we're talking about there. I do want to say that for next year, we need to think about how we will be doing this event. I think that in order for this to be sustainable, it cannot be one individual that is recruiting the various organizations and businesses and what have you, because that individual may not be here next year, and so we need to think about what we're going to do going forward. So I think I've got a list of the people with contact information of the participants that we had from this year, and I'm going to share it with the planning board office, and I think that would be a good place to start. And then I think probably just in the, generally it's right around June, I send out a little, hey, save the date to the prior participants, and then they say yay or nay, and then we start pimping it out on social media, and then other people join the crowd, and it kind of ebbs and flows that way, with a basic foundation of it being fire, highway, police. That's sort of our basic thing. And then of course we always have the Boy Scout. There's certain ones that are always Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Scouts, because we can't say Boy Scout or Girl Scout. I mean, we can, but there's also just Scout. And 4-H and the like. So I'll share that with you guys, and I think that would be a good idea, because
2 or 3.
I think we could take it to a different level if people want to do that. We could take it to the next level and do, I don't know, more entertainment, or more, I don't know, more food trucks, or I don't know how far people want to take it, but I think that would be a good idea, like a little subcommittee. Yeah. Yeah. So any other ideas on that? If said person's lobotomy is, successful, perhaps, we'll see. All right. Anything else on Hanson Day? Okay. Hanson Business Summit, I just sent you guys some names, but I don't recall, Scott, if you were at this meeting or not, but at the last Hanson Business Network meeting, we discussed what topics would you guys like to see just brought up at the Hanson Business? No, because I was too busy doing the fundraiser for the food pantry. Trying to get somebody to take that over too, the Hanson Business. Let me see, let this to you, James. And the topics that people said that they were interested in were social media for business, work-life family balance, and mental health, which I thought was interesting, but hey, who doesn't need more of both of those? IT security, and again, everybody's struggling with that. And then business structuring from a CPA legal perspective. Chris, are you on with us right now?
Was he muted last time?
All right.
Yeah, he's muted.
Yeah, it looks like he's still got himself muted.
Okay. I'm hoping Chris has got, because he's a CPA, he has clients in a lot of these different fields, but one of the members of Hanson Business Network, Cheryl Tapa, who owns Burning Stitches, had mentioned that she, through some of her other networks, had a couple of contacts. So she provided me a name with the person that would be willing to do a talk about social media. And then I know last year Chris had somebody that came but wasn't a speaker who was willing to talk to us about firewalls and security. So I'm hoping, this might be Chris, who might be able to help us with that.
We've lost him.
Okay. Does anybody have anybody that could do like a work-life family balance? I did have Melinda Frazzetti mentioned her daughter gives talks. That's what she does for a job. She's a therapist, and she gives talks about work, life, family, and balance. But I thought, should we put it out on social media and say that we're looking for people to speak about this, and vet people, also let's talk about what it looks like. So that's one of the things we talked about at the Hanson Business Network. Is this summit going to, should it be more like breakout sessions, where if you want to go listen to a small group of, let's say 10 or 15 people, are sitting there talking about social media, there's that session, you could go to that, or you could go to like one about work life, so that if you're not interested in all of those topics, you can pick and choose a little breakout session that you would, like would have one main speaker, one kind of like keynote speaker, but unlike last year, instead of like 3 or 4 people after that, just have little breakout sessions, and then come back together at the end for some ta-da, inspirational, words of wisdom. I don't know who will impart those, but we'll find somebody and that type of thing. So which way do you think would work better, you guys?
I mean, I like the idea of breakout session. But you have one keynote speaker and you do 4 other things and broken out all at the same time.
You could do 2 separate, like half-hour breakout sessions where you can pick one of 2 things. Like you'd have, say, I'm making this up because this is on the fly, but like you'd have like, okay, one of the breakout sessions is on social media and the other one's on IT and protecting your data. So those 2 are happening at the same time. And then the next half hour, you would have 2 different ones that would be on mental health, life balance, which, by the way, would your wife potentially be interested in speaking about that?
I'll ask her.
All right, and then also on, organizational CPA.
Unless we shorten them.
So do like 15-minute sessions?
Yeah, and do the breakouts and maybe have a second, have something people are really interested, second speaker, and then do another breakout session. But let people, or do 2 15 minutes add that half an hour so people rotate if they want.
Because my reasoning in wanting these breakout sessions is one of the things at the beginning of the event and at the end of the event, there was a lot of networking, but I would like to have more networking in the event. And I think that if you're in smaller groups and breakout session, you're more likely to go, oh, hey, what's your name? I've never met you before. Like, what do you do?
Definitely the communication is.
Do it
Yeah.
like speed
Is
dating,
more.
Yeah, what do you go? Oh, so like speed dating type of like
Yeah, like,
15 minutes?
right, if you have 4 15-minute sessions, and you do 2 of those for that, some people can at once, and then if you had another speed thing, now everybody gets a chance to.
Okay, what do you think?
That makes sense, yeah. I didn't make it to the last one, but it does sound like a lot more people could take more advantage of more groups if you just shorten them. But I don't know, what do you guys, how'd it go last year?
We intended to have
Yeah.
the groups, but we didn't think out how that was going to actually work, so people just sort of talked to each other.
I see.
And plus, we also had a lot of speakers who had already sort of spoken a lot, and so I think people were like, yeah, I'm kind of like, I've had my share of like adult learning tonight,
Couple of the
I'm good.
speakers were a little long-winded too, but.
Well, I didn't want to say that, but changing no names, but yes.
No, yeah, but I mean, well, not long-winded, but a little.
Yeah, and yes,
Keep it
yeah.
shorter, I think it would be easier to do.
All right, so do
Less
we
pressure
agree,
on the speaker.
like one keynote speaker?
Yeah.
And then, were we saying 15, maybe, I feel like 15 is very short to get your point across, maybe like 20 minutes? I don't know. What do you think, Mr. DeFries? I would welcome your input.
Yeah, I think one keynote speaker might make it easier because it shortens the time. I also thought maybe if we had members of the town up front, if there's maybe like as almost like a panel, and if there's people in business, they have questions regarding feedback from them.
Yes.
Okay, what would you like to see? Do you have specific questions? What would you like to see the town do for businesses, or what can we do for
I
you?
love that.
To kind of get some feedback from them, so that at least we know, we're providing information for them, but we also need feedback from them so that we know what we can try and provide. So I thought maybe a little something like that, and then do the breakout session.
I love that. What do you guys think?
That makes sense.
It gives people the opportunity, especially if somebody's new, get to put a face to that, instead of just looking on the website, it's who's who, and they can.
I mean, they could ask the question there, but if they felt uncomfortable, then when we're doing breakout sessions, people could be available to answer questions. Do you think you'll get take-up from, I'm pretty sure Christopher Lee and the town clerk and...
Yeah, I can reach out to the folks that we spoke to. We had last year, we had the assessor there, town clerk, building, planning. I'll be there as well. I'll be So, we can have,
I think Board of Health is rather critical to be there because, to the extent we've got anybody with a restaurant, well, I mean, every business, brick and mortar has got to have an inspection. And perhaps even,
fire.
Fire, if we could get Robbie or Charlie to come, because, we've got the annual smoke detector.
Maybe zoning.
Fire extinguishers too.
Yeah, fire suppression, I should say, fire suppression. I was just like, I could perhaps see them rolling their eyeballs with me smoke detector, but, okay, so, all right, I think that sounds pretty solid. Do you guys feel good about that, or? Okay.
Could I throw something out? I went to a conference once that instead of doing the breakout sessions, we had kind of like the keynote, but for seating, this sounds a little bit like a 70s house party, but business cards were put into a bowl and then you were seated. Somebody drew business cards, so you were seated with people that you didn't come with. And then after the keynote speech, there were like prompts, and every table had to come up with a certain number of like questions that they had to ask as a table. So it really encouraged people to talk to each other. They were sitting with people they didn't know, and it was a little less of a logistical thing with the moving for the breakout sessions and the space.
So are you saying do that instead of the breakout sessions?
It could be instead of, it could be in addition to. It was just something I've seen.
We do need an icebreaker. I definitely think we need an icebreaker because people are just awkward. They're just awkward. They don't know how to, say, and we don't have any booze there, so that's not going to help. So we're on a tight budget, so they're getting keto, no alcohol. People are going to get, hangry.
BYOB.
We'll give them a lot of coffee.
What could possibly go wrong with that? A bunch of entrepreneurs on caffeine. I like your, let's think about an icebreaker, maybe not quite to that extent, and see what we can come up with on ways to kind of break down some of the barriers of, that people feel when they, they're with the groups that they think, oh, I don't even know these people, what do they even have in common with me?
Did you raffle something last
We
year?
did,
Raffle.
yeah, and I was going to say, what did we raffle off last year?
A lot of stuff. Kim was able to get
Kim
a lot.
was just whipping all kinds of
a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to
We do have a modest budget.
we have a $1,500 budget, so we can go back and do another raffle, similar
I think
things.
that would be a good, I like the idea of people, although it does seem like put your keys in the goldfish bowl. Yeah, whatever.
But we did.
Giving those vibes, and I know that's not what you mean.
we did do that last year. We
Yeah.
had a bucket
For the raffle?
Yeah.
for the business cards,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we have a bunch of them. As a matter of fact, I gave them to Jay because we'll be notifying everyone that gave us a business card about the summit, along with our list of businesses that we
Okay,
have.
so let's do that again. I think it's a good way to collect data about who's there instead of having people sign in and all that. I like that idea. You can noodle, what kind of an icebreaker, you're a tree, what kind of tree would you be? Whatever. Whatever
Everybody loves that.
The other two things is we're looking for February the 26th as the date.
Oh, okay. And they said that they've got availability?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if you want to vote on that or just.
Yes, I think we should vote on it, and then you can send something to the Camp Kawani crew and lock it down.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to reserve Camp Kawani for February 26th. I know,
So moved.
26. All in favor? Aye. Okay, great, that was.
The last, the other thing that we have is, I didn't know if there was a member of the committee that was interested in doing the catering for this, or if we're going to look at going to a different business, because we had, I forget the restaurant we had last year, but I didn't know if we wanted to go to a different one just to sort of, mix it up, or if
Yeah.
Mr. Rothwell is interested.
Yeah.
If the committee's interested in having Mr. Rothwell do it.
Happy to do a donation.
We don't want you to donate, but that's where it gets tricky. So can you just check this by Lisa? I don't want to
Right, I don't wanna cause any
do
issues
anything
either.
inappropriate while
Right.
we're trying to help him and
Yeah.
like put him in the crosshairs or something
Exactly,
weird.
yeah.
So can you just double check on what the
Yep.
protocols are? But God knows I'm a fan of his stuff anyway, so,
I think either way.
yes, we should definitely rotate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did we?
I think we used Meadowbrook last year.
Yeah, and it was quite fine, it was fine, they did a good job. We've got Fetch Barbecue that's new, we've got Hitch and Post, we've got Liberty Pizza, so there's a lot of variety, but check if we're able to, to do Scott without any issues, I think lovely.
I did want to ask, on the bottom of the to-do sheet in your packet, I had found a bunch of sort of South Shore business organizations and networking organizations.
Where is this?
It is after the website presentation in the packet.
Website.
So right before the map, I believe.
After the website.
Yeah, Kevin's got
Is it
it.
this one, yeah? This
Does
one?
it look, EDC Summit? Oh, yeah.
Those maps in the back, it's right before those.
I'm having so much trouble with this.
Yeah, that's it.
It looks like this.
I know what it
Yeah,
looks like, I just
About
can't
halfway
find it.
through the
It's
file.
right after
Oh,
the
it's
map.
half,
Almost to the end, actually.
Go to the map and page back.
3 pages from the end of the file.
okay.
I'll put it up on the screen.
There we
Thank
go.
you. I got it, okay, that was painful.
Sorry about that. I was just going to point out, I found these networking organizations that I thought we could contact about coming, but we could also potentially see if they had anybody that would want to speak, if that's something you would want to do.
Yeah, so we kind of have those topics that people have said they'd like to hear about. I'd also like to invite Senator Brady. Last year we had, I believe, South Shore Chamber of Commerce. They had
Yeah.
just appointed, what's his name, Tim Mulkey maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody of notoriety. And then we had Jeff Deal, because he's got Boss Academy. So I'd love him to come again. He could, even though he's got Boss Academy, he also has his finger on the pulse. Rep Sweezy, Rep DeCoste, Senator Brady. And I'm trying to, and perhaps we can find out, I'm trying to think, who the heck is, Ken may be on the small business, I think he might be on the state economic development. He and Brady have both got roles in different committees that have got to do with, specifically have got to do with economic development and small business. So I would really like to have them come. We also last year somehow fortuitously landed that lady that did small business loans for veteran-owned businesses and thought she was going to leave without connecting with anybody, but we had Scott Roffo there.
Yeah, she was definitely a wealth of knowledge, for sure.
So I don't know if the Small Business Administration, if we might be able to get, I don't know what shape they're in with the whole federal and I really have no idea whether they've laid people off, if they've scaled back, if they're back to business, I don't know. But I certainly think we would want to invite them.
Mhm.
Anybody else that you guys can think of? Metro Chamber of Commerce, we would love to talk to somebody from there.
I get emails, is it South Shore News? And they report about all the town halls on the South Shore?
Yeah.
You don't have to notify them, they get that information automatically, or
No, we would need to send something to them.
everything's a release?
Yeah. Once we lock it down, definitely we want to start, advertising it.
Sorry, speaking of that, so Jay has come up with flyers.
Okay. Lovely.
So there's different versions. That's the first one.
It's all basically
Second.
the same thing, just different.
So same, different colors, right?
Yeah.
Same layout, different
I
colors.
don't dig the orange, but that color I like, but yeah. Oh, cranberry, that's our traditional colors. We gotta go cranberry when in doubt.
Yeah.
Incorporate the cranberry and the cranberry color when in doubt.
Yeah.
But so we have we have flyer, date has changed, obviously, there's just so draft. 5:30 to 8, what time are we looking to do? 5:30 to 8?
I think we decided 5:30 last year because we thought that was, we don't want to go too late. Let me ask you about a snow date or a weather date.
Okay.
We are talking about late February, it's quite possible, the way things are going now. It'd just be donning bathing suits at that time of the year, we probably should check on maybe like the following week, the same day, whether she's got availability.
Okay.
Okay. So I like the blue one. I think it's just boom.
The blue one was the first one I did.
Yeah.
And we're going to do
And
it.
then I was just playing because I play.
You guys agree?
Yeah, stands out.
Yep.
We're definitely going to ask for an RSVP this time, just to make it easier for us to figure out. Hey,
We should come up with a tagline for the Hanson
Oh, fine.
Committee, like "Show me the money." Something. I don't know. That's probably already taken, but maybe we could come up with some other thing. Okay. So you don't need a vote for that. I mean, we could just use
No.
that as the flyer. That would be.
Yeah.
So what's our thought process? Maybe like put that down at the library.
Yeah, library, social media,
Yep.
town hall,
Yep.
all the usual suspects.
Okay. Cool.
And we'll also send this flyer out with to all the businesses on the list.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Now we've got 284
They
businesses.
can
Yep.
put flyers in there.
Yeah, if you send that to me, I'll put it on the Hanson Business Network page, and then that will be a good, way to get the message out to everybody, save the date type of thing.
And we can put the snow date on there as well.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So let's get out, and then we'll make it official. Okay. Anything else? I've now completely lost my agenda. There we go. All right. 212 Industrial Boulevard, Mr. DeVries.
So, as you're aware, we're looking at 212 Industrial Boulevard, which is owned by the town, and what type of development we could get out there. So, as a matter of fact, this evening, this project is going before the Conservation Commission for approval of the wetland line, and the VHB has created some sketches. So they've created some preliminary sketches. So the first sketch, because this area here, all this green area, is wetland, so it kind of encroaches. It's larger. The wetland area is larger than what is shown on the GIS. But with that being said, I mean, you can fill in 5,000 square feet as long as you replicate. So they took a look at doing a filling of 4,000 square feet, replicating 5,000 square feet. And this would be with access coming from Franklin Street into the site.
Okay.
The building is 10,000 square feet. One of the things we ran into, I had a meeting with VHB and Mass Development, and they didn't like the fact that the building was 10,000 square feet. They like to see buildings that are like 50,000 square feet. So there was rumblings of basically, we're not really sure if we want to keep moving forward with this project.
Well, we're Hanson. We're Boston.
So I asked the engineer, based with the topography, can we make this a two-story building and get 20,000 square feet and parking? So they're going to look at that because they feel that with our parking regulations, it is possible to make that maybe a two-story building. Because what happens is from Franklin Street, it kind of drops off, it drops down towards the back. So there could be a case of 2 stories, or maybe parking below the building and then 2 stories above that. So it's a total of 3 stories.
But I
And it would increase.
I get that Mass Housing Development wants it to be larger, but realistically, is there a market in Hanson for a building that large?
Well, I don't think we necessarily have the room for 50,000. I mean, we're pretty close to 50,000 with the one off of 0 West Washington Street. This site obviously just is not going to lend itself to 50,000 square feet. But if we do, if we could do a multi-story building, and it's 20,000 square feet, so it's closer to the 50. So the Mass Development representative was more receptive to it, and then, I obviously don't want them to just say, okay, you know what, we've reached the point, we're done with this. This is as far as you're going to go. I mean, I want to get this to the end.
Yeah.
But the intent is the state was going to purchase it from the town and then develop it?
No. So what
No,
this,
no.
so what the town will do is, once we get the wetland line approved, and we have sketches, they're going to do some soil testing. Then the town could put this together like 0 West Washington Street and market it,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
either
this is-
dispose of it
Right.
or
Right,
lease
so
it.
everything gets figured out before you.
Yeah,
Right.
this is just, prepping it so that it's, and like, we get maximum of bang for our buck. The
Sure.
town gets maximum bang for the buck. The state's not gonna tell us what to do with it, the state's not buying it, nothing.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be residential, it's definitely commercial or industrial,
Yeah.
like, that's,
So the second sketch they had come up with was, again, a 10,000 square foot building, but in this case, access would come across the property next door, and the town would say try to gain, or would examine gaining an easement from that property next door, and just use their entrance off of Industrial Boulevard, and then that would come across into our site.
Would that make it less desirable?
I think obviously direct access is probably always better than an easement, because, easements could sometimes get a little tricky. The first of the abutter would have to be willing to give us an easement, and then how much does that cost? And if there's issues with the easement of blocking or anything. So Franklin Street is always probably the better of the two. But I think that with the site and with the wetlands, this is probably the best. If we can do it, like I said, at a minimum 10,000, at a most maybe 20,000 if we get a multi-story building, because again, you can put parking underneath, and with Franklin Street being elevated compared to the site, you'd be seeing, let's say you had the parking below, now you're seeing the front of the building at street level on Franklin Street. That'll gain them access to spaces. So we had that discussion, and again, right now tonight it's going to go before the Conservation Commission, and hopefully they'll approve the wetland line, and then the next step will be to get some couple of test pits out there for see what the soil conditions are,
this is great.
and then
I love the idea of the town being able to use underutilized properties to get some additional revenue coming in.
so then once they complete all that, it'll be like 0 West Washington Street. We'll have a full report that the town can then, and the select board could then use to move it on. But that's the status of this project at this point.
Awesome.
Great.
So that's all I have for that.
Then I had town.
Yes, so first thing is the EV charging stations. As the committee is aware, there's a set of charging stations out here that are not currently working. We reached out to a few different contractors, and right now it seems like we're leaning towards the contractor that actually originally did these charging stations, who's actually out of Hanson, and so we're scheduling a date to go before the select board to discuss it. And on the 13th, so on the 13th of January, we'll be going before the select board to talk more about this, because we'd like to get those charging stations up and running, because then we can set it up to make some income. And there's programs, known as an EBIT program through the state, that would pay for upgrading the infrastructure that's out there. The key thing is basically like the heads and connection to the internet. When it was done, it was a 3G, and obviously we're on a 5G network now, so what's out there just doesn't work.
I remember we talked about that last time. Also possibly expanding. What if the police,
Yep.
stuff like that?
Yep. We're looking at, because we spoke with him about doing other municipal buildings, police, fire, library, senior center, maybe even highway, because the state does have grants for large electric vehicles that, once we get the charging stations up and running, then we can start also possibly looking at fleet vehicles for use by inspectional services or, police and fire. So I'll have more information after our January meeting. One thing I will need a vote on is we received an estimate from J&R Graphics, and we've asked them for an estimate, print out 500 envelopes with the Economic Development Committee, let's say, call it letterhead, if you will. And so they've given us an estimate of $136.88. And if the committee is willing to go with that, I will ask them to print out envelopes, because obviously we need the envelopes to send out for the business summit. Are they going to do 500?
I will have
So moved.
okay. All in favor? Aye. Great.
And then last thing I have, which is not on the agenda, but just to make the committee aware that the HLC has said to Hanson, they let me know that our application related to the MBTA is complete and we're in interim compliance. And in the letter, it even says, hey, you're now eligible for this particular grant.
Hopefully we don't ever have to talk about this again.
So now we're just waiting on the AG's office for the rest of it. And that's all I have currently.
Okay, and so next up, we've got set a January date. What are we looking at if we kind of continue with our normal cadence?
Wednesdays in January are 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th.
What do you guys think about the 10th? Oh, no, sorry.
14th.
14th? Yeah, what do you think about that? That gives everybody a little time
I think
to
that makes sense to get away from
decompress from the
beginning of
holidays and all.
January.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I will entertain a motion to set the next meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, fantastic. And then before we know it, the summit will be upon us. So, you know, just if you can update us via email, and if we have a need to have to meet. But I mean, I think we've got the basic foundational decisions made, so some of them might just need to be executive decision making.
Yeah, now we'll get into the nitty gritty about
Yeah.
getting it all set up.
All right, well then I will entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great.